Hello, my name is Lindsay Brown. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about a council meeting that I attended last month. I have taken notes on it and I didn't make the video yet. Unfortunately, I realised that the local council meeting was on last night and I missed it. I should have been there just because we want to see what's going on. You know, there's a lot of money, a lot of technology in these council chambers. There's a lot of money, there's a lot of resources, time and energy, and we want to know if they're talking about the topics that we, the public, feel that are relevant right now. And shocker, they're not, right? But anyway, let me tell you what they are talking about and what happened at this council meeting. So this one was on the 30th of June. I had been to the one at the end of May. I had walked in, no problem. We're on this one on the 30th of June. They brought in security. They asked for ID. I didn't have ID because obviously I didn't need it the week or the month before, so I hadn't brought it. So I had to rush home, get it, so I could get in. But anyway, could get in. Shout out to the security guards. They were sound as a pound, right? They were grand. You know, I get that they were asked to do a job, but they were lovely. They were lovely to us. They were friendly. They were all good. So anyway, the meeting started and there was no mayor and there was no deputy mayor who would be the normal people to chair the meeting. And it was put out to the other councillors, did anybody want to chair? And everybody was silent for a while because it probably was a difficult one to chair because there was quite a few of us. There's quite a few of us in the, if we want to call it the gallery, just members of the public. We just want to know what's going on, right? We just want to know what is going on. You know, we've all sat back, getting on with our lives, not really taking accountability to what's happening to our country until now we see how bad it's got, and now we want to see what's happening. We want to see what they're doing. So it started off with a chaplain saying a prayer. Now, as far as I could make out, a chaplain is somebody that's like a chaplain in a hospital. So you know you have these, I don't want to call it ministers, priests, because I know it's not that, but it's a religious somebody in a church that doesn't really have there's a word for that and I don't know, a notion, nomination, I don't know. Anyway, they're sort of for everybody, right? They're for everybody. But I noticed that Sinn Féin didn't come in. And now that I think about it, I must have been sitting outside with Sinn Féin the week before or the month before, because I didn't go into the meeting until the prayer was already done. Again, I don't know if it's a religious thing. If anybody knows the answer to that, I'd love to let me know. Let me know in the comments. But it was just strange that all happened and then Sinn Féin came in, right? So I'm thinking maybe, do they think he was a Protestant? Was he? And they didn't want to come in because they're... I don't know. I don't know. It was just interesting, right? Guys, this is all my opinions. It's my observation. It's my interpretation of what I've seen. Okay, so this is my opinions. You have to say things like that nowadays. So anyway, first of all, so guys stand, he's chairing, he's sitting up behind in front of everybody, up behind the desk in front of everybody, and the first sort of question that's put out to everybody is anybody of any sort of special interest that needs discussed. Now, I know you're all going to think all of them jumped up and said, well, the state of our country, right? No, they didn't, right? No, they didn't, which I know you know, right? They didn't. And I know it seems shocking that none of them wanted to discuss that. And nobody thought that it was a pressing matter that needed brought up, but they didn't. So they talked through the last minutes. Now, I didn't have a copy of them. I'm trying to get this freaking printer to work so that I can have a copy of the minutes going forward. Because I want to continue to report on this. I want to continue to let them know that we're watching. We're watching and we're listening and we're interested in what's happening to our country now. We've been asleep for too long and we're not anymore. So we are keeping an eye on them. So I didn't really fully understand, because it would have been something like, I don't know, section 6, paragraph 2, you know. So they were looking at the minutes, I wasn't, so I couldn't pick up on what they were saying. So then they're sort of asked, does anybody get any motions? So from what I can gather is that a motion, and you maybe guys know more than I do, a motion is that they want to bring something forward for a vote, okay? So they've got an idea of something that they think will better the country or better relations in the country and make our wee country a better place, right? And they bring these motions and then they take a vote. So one of the councillors, I believe, because you can sort of tell who sides on who, right? I believe it's a DUP councillor, brought up a motion to say that they would like to have some sort of tribute to the prison guards, to the prison service. Now, I don't know exactly what detail they meant. Would that have been a monetary tribute to the best prison officer? Was it awards that they wanted, or was it just for them to tell all prison officers you're doing great, here's a bonus, or here's an award ceremony night? I don't know exactly what the details of it was, but I do know that Sinn Féin decided that they would say no, they do not agree with this motion because of what happened 30 years ago. So this guy and went on a whole big spiel. I didn't even really take notes on it. That's what I went on to tell a list of things that happened years ago. Maybe I need better notes. But yeah, even on. I mean, I'm not saying he was lying by any way, shape, or form. I'm sure the stuff he was saying was true, but it was 30 years ago, right? I would say half of those prison guards are retired by now, right? They're probably gone by now. Now, bear in mind, I'm from a working class background. I'm from an estate. We don't like cops. We don't like prison guards, okay? I'm not trying to stick up for these prison guards at all. But what I am trying to say is it's probably a tough job. It's certainly not a job I would want to do. Let me put it that way. It wouldn't be a job I would want to do. I would say it's a tough job. I would say it's mentally and draining physically maybe on days also. So look, I get where the councillor was coming from, them wanting some sort of tribute. Again, give me your thoughts. I don't think it's a topic that really needs discussed today on considering what's going on in our country. But I get where the councillor was coming from, right? And the reason I'm just sharing it with you is because it was just that back for that tit for tat. You know, that tit for tat. Oh, but this happened 30 years ago. Right, well, all those prison guards are probably gone now, right? We need to move on. And quite frankly, what's happening to our country, I would imagine that the prison guard's job is going to get a lot tougher. A lot tougher if we keep having the incidences that are happening in our country, right? So, you know, I can get it. I can get it. And we need to stop bringing up the past all the time. All the time. You know, if we want these guys to do a good job, you know, I know in any jobs I've been in and we've got a bonus, you know, you're going to work harder because you know you're going to get a bonus. So if that's what it was, then maybe these prison guards would maybe do a better job. I don't know, but I just don't like that tit for tat all the time and bringing up the past all the time. Yes, we 100% need to learn from the past, of course we do. But maybe by having an awards ceremony for these prison guards, maybe it would make them do a better job and they wouldn't repeat the mistakes from the past. Having said that, it is our own government that's going to make their job more difficult for them in the long run. So, yeah, give me your thoughts on that. They went on to talk about then some 26k for admin, 27k for community festivals. They went on to talk about a visit to France, about poppies in August next month. So see if that happens. Again, probably money that we don't need to be spending considering what's happening to the country. That'll be them and being, so I don't know who'll be picked for that. Some MLAs or councillors, they'll get to go on a wee jolly. If you know different and I'm saying that wrong, please let me know. But I think that's a visit to France. You know, do we really need to be doing that right now? Love your opinion, please. So they agreed on that, by the way. They agreed on that. So then they started to discuss these discount to 3G pitches. So I think when you're booking through the season, there's some sort of discount to get the kids out playing on the 3G pitches. Probably not just kids, probably adults as well. Again, fantastic, brilliant discount. I'm all into fitness. Everybody knows I sprint, I hurdle. So very much for getting a discount for the kids to get into these 3G pitches and to get their fitness levels up, and all for that. It's very good for the mental health. It's very good for physical. I'm all for making our country, the people in our country, mentally and physically stronger. So definitely up for that. But one of the councillors actually mentioned that in Monkstown that they're more expensive. And so he wanted to bring that particular pitch down to in line with the other pitches, especially because there they actually have a team that has disabilities. And these guys, from what I could see and my observation from this meeting, was that these guys with disabilities are actually paying more to use their pitch than some of the other pitches in the area. Sinn Féin. Oh, but if you're going to do that for them, you have to do it for me. I talking about these counsellors talking about nonsense. I explain things like that. You have to have a laugh, guys. So they went on about that, you know, well, if they're going to have it cheaper, then we need to look into our areas and get it cheaper for them and all the rest of it. Yeah, do it then. You know, don't shut down something because you think maybe, oh, it's not fair. If you have something you want to bring up and there is a disability football team in your area, then go, right guys, I've got one too, let's do it for them all. Yeah, don't just shut it down because, oh, there might be some in ours and that's not fair. Like, you know, it's more, again, it's that waste of time, energy and resource. Give these disabled kids a bit of discount off their 3G pitch, for crying out loud. Like, come on, really. You want to talk about it being yeah, not fair. Life's not fair. Sure, it's not. Oh, that was a bit. I didn't like that. You know, to me, that should have been a straightforward answer. You know, these kids, give them. They're disabled kids. They're out there trying to keep a bit of fitness in them, and they're out there trying to do good. Like, let them have the discount on the 3G pitches. For it just, that just seemed absolutely ridiculous. To me, it really, really did. So anyway, guys, that's literally my notes. We were chucked out then. We were absolutely chucked out after that. Now, one of the guys sort of mentioned as we were all leaving, he's not going to talk about, at the time there was camping going on down in one of our local beaches. And he said, you know, you're not going to talk about these irregular or illegal immigrants, refugees, whatever it is you want to call them, it doesn't matter, right? Camping and running into parks and doing this and that, and I can't remember his exact words. I've maybe added a bit on there, but more or less bringing up, are you not going to talk about what's happening to the country, what our pressing concerns are as the public, and as that we were escorted out completely then. We were definitely escorted out then as well. The cops were there. Yeah, there was cops there. Actually, I forgot to tell you that at the start. Not only security, but the cops were there. Again, the previous month, none of that was there. So anyway, I got escorted out. The meeting, we were told then that that's the private part of the meeting. So anyway, a few of us were chatting outside. No longer, I want to say no longer than 2 minutes, but it might have been 5, right? We'll give them their dues, 5. And they all come out. So there obviously wasn't anything that was more that was spoke about, because they all come out. A couple of counsellors give us a shout and said that they didn't know that this stuff was going on and that they do want to help. They seem sincere. I'm not saying that I'm starting to trust the counsellors. I'm not. But these guys seem interested. They seem to want to know what was going on in their areas. You know, I spoke to one and he grew up in the area that he still lives in, that he's still counsellor for. You know, so when you actually grew up there and you're counsellor for there, I would say does care. I would say does. We asked them about, you know, are they doing anything about this? It's always put on, we can't do anything. It's Westminster, but we do want to help where we can. So I guess we have to take that as a positive. But where the reporter came in, and I'll explain this then. So the reporter came in and she then done her article, I think about 3 or 4 days later, right? And in her article, you would be made to believe that the counsellors knew about the camping and about the camping in our local beach, and that the counsellors had sorted it. But the counsellors didn't know about it. She chose, from what I could see, she chose to wait a few days to do her article so that the article could read that the counsellors and the police had this all sorted. There's no problem. Everything's safe. They'd have it all sorted. Well, they didn't know anything about it, and they stood face to face with us and told us that. So, you know, it just goes to show you that we cannot believe, and I'm really starting to see it with my own eyes, that we really cannot believe what our media is telling us. You know, and then this is a woman reporter as well, you know. You like to think all women are good, aren't they? And, oh, I don't know. Anyway, guys, I will let you know how the next one goes. Apologies that I missed this July one. That was my fault. But, you know, guys, get to your local council meetings. Get out there. We need to see our faces out there. They need to see that we're not letting this go. We are not letting this go. We are not letting our country be taken off us. It's as simple as that. It's just not going to happen. And you know, I hope that for across all of the UK and Ireland. You know, this is two beautiful wee islands, and we want to keep them beautiful wee islands, and we want to keep them with our values. And you know, I get people saying to me all the time, "Oh, but our people do bad things too." Yeah, they do. So what makes us think that we can sort out the rest of the world's problems when we can't even sort out our own? Let's sort out our own. Let's become as strong as we possibly can, and then we consider helping the rest of the world. Anyway, thank you all so much.